Good morning, everybody, and happy Friday. I just wanted to do this quick little intro to the video you're about to watch. You guys are going to be taking a look at my Snapper Case DVD collection. I just wanted to point out that apparently my grammar is all over the place, and there are some mistakes in that video that you're going to see clearly. But I just wanted to point it out instead of doing a text on the video, putting that out. So I'd rather just do a quick little video intro in a way. But yeah, so I just wanted to point that out and enjoy the video. What's going on, everyone? It's Crazy Review Man 22 here, and welcome back to a brand new video, and welcome to the channel. Today's video, we're going to be taking a look at my Snapper Case collection. So for those who are not familiar with Snapper Case DVDs, they were basically the first wave of DVDs. They were basically a cardboard sleeve with a little tab, and it would have the disc in there, of course, and then you'd have the chapter selection, I guess insert, as you would call it. And they were fun to find, but eventually, like any collector out there, they just became really annoying. They were not looking all that great on the DVD shelves, and eventually people started getting rid of them. And now you can find them at pawn shops and thrift stores. Now, a lot of films out there, their original releases were the Snapper Case release, and they would not get re-released on a keep case. So to show you guys a difference, I can't speak English today. So this is your standard keep case, which is really nice, and this is what they use to this day. The Snapper Case releases were just pretty much these cardboard cases with a little tab. You open it up, and then you'd have your chapter selection insert, and then of course the disc. Then just close it. Now, as easy as it is, these are a pain because they would not look all that great compared to your standard keep cases. And at times when you try to slide them in and out off your shelf, they would get snubbed against any other Snapper Case release. So now a lot of collectors are starting to, pick them up. Like myself, I love the Snapper Case releases. The more I think about it, the more unique they are. But they are a pain in the ass to replace. Now, you can buy DVD replacement cases. You can't buy Snapper Case releases. So over the years, I've been collecting a lot. Now, Big Lots, back in the day, I think 2008, 2009, they were selling a lot of Snapper Cases. Anytime you turned around, you could find a Snapper Case. And I do have a couple films that actually, I don't believe they got a keep case release. I think the only keep case release you can get is a double feature. So it was nice to have some of these films individually rather than getting them in a double feature set. Before I do forget, I do have a box set I want to show as well. That's also a Snapper Case release I had completely forgot about. So, without any interruption and enough of me chit-chatting, let's get right into it. So we're going to start off with one of my personal favorites, The Little Shop of Horrors, with Rick Moranis and Steve Martin, which is a classic. This is actually a remake to the Jack Nicholson film, and this is the film I grew up with. I've actually have never seen the original, and it is on my bucket list, so I will be checking that out sometime down the road. But really cool film. It is a musical. I do plan to eventually get the Blu-ray. I hope this movie gets a 4K release, because I think a 4K release would look absolutely amazing. The next one here is Money Talks with Chris Tucker and Charlie Sheen, which has been a while since I've seen. I think the last time I saw it was like way back in the 90s. And like any early DVD, it's a dual layer, so or a double layer, whatever you want to call it. So basically, one side would be the widescreen version, and the other side would be the standard full screen version. The next one here is Night Shift with Henry Winkler and Michael Keaton. And this was just announced to be available on Blu-ray through the Warner Archive collection. So that's pretty awesome. I will be getting the Blu-ray for sure. And here's the only downfall I don't like about the Snapper Case releases. So when these were being first released, they would put like these security tapes are on like pretty much the bottom, the top, and the middle. And if you weren't careful, you would do something like this. So it would actually tear the artwork, which is a really big pain. And it's a main reason why a lot of collectors out there decided to not collect these anymore. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but I mean, a lot of people who would buy films like that, if you weren't careful, it pretty much ruined your DVD, other than the disc itself. But I like the artwork. I want to know what I'm watching. The next one here is Ready to Rumble, which is pretty much the only WCW related movie. Love this movie. One of my favorite films in general. One of my favorite wrestling films. It's really cool. You got David Arquette, Scott Conn, Oliver Platt, Rose McGowan. Of course, you've got Diamond Dallas Page and, you know, Bill Goldberg. Next, we have Richie Rich's Christmas Wish. I think this was a TV-made movie. I did actually have only seen this, I think, like once or twice. Came out in like the late 90s, I believe. It's got the actor from Seventh Heaven. So, really cool to pick. You know, it was cool to find that one. Man, I cannot speak. I am like way not ready for this video. The next one here is Little Nikki, which is my all-time favorite Adam Sandler film. And again, it would peel if you weren't careful, which is always a downfall. Now, why this film does not have a Blu-ray release is beyond me. I do hope one day we get a Blu-ray release, but we'll see. The cool thing I liked about some of these snapper cases was that some of them would even fold out even more, so you can get some really cool images. So yeah, Little Nicky is an all-time favorite. I think this is pretty much the last best Adam Sandler movie. It wasn't until, well, no, after this he went on to do Big Daddy, and I think after Big Daddy, that's kind of where everything kind of went downhill, other than Mr. Deeds, but I didn't really care for Mr. Deeds. Next we have Pokemon, the first movie, which I remember seeing this one when opening weekend. Me and my friends, we got the Pokemon card that came with your movie ticket, and we went. It was a packed house. So pretty much the first and only Pokemon movie I saw in theaters. So really cool. I was big into collecting them, and then eventually once I hit high school, I just grew out of it, and it got to a point I just sold them. Me and my brother decided we were going to sell them, and we were going to get GTA Vice City, and we did. So that was a pretty interesting thing, but it's a cool story. Next we have Bloodsport with Van Damme, which is a great movie, if you guys have not seen it. Anytime I come across snapper cases, if it's a film I don't have, I'm going to pick it up. Or if it's a film I have but has different artwork, I definitely will pick it up. Next, we have Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie. Really cool. I love Mystery Science Theater. I would love to get the series, but Jesus, that series is so expensive. I don't think it's ever gone down in price. I did buy a box set, but I flipped it on eBay because I just didn't want to have like one random set. I plan to eventually get the series, but I want to start with like the first set and the second set. Even if I have to get bootlegs, I'll do that. But as long as I can get the series, because it's a fun series. It's basically like, you know, these two, you got like this pilot and this gumball machine and some other machine type of creature, and they just watch these old like black and white sci-fi films or horror films, and they just do really funny commentary. The next one here is, to me, probably one of the best and one of the most underrated Jim Carrey movies, and that's The Majestic. It does have an old Blockbuster sticker, which is pretty cool. This one's a little beat up. I do plan to eventually upgrade this one to Blu-ray. But yeah, it's, if you guys haven't seen it, I highly recommend. It's one of many underrated Jim Carrey movies where his performance is outstanding, and this is definitely one of them. The next one here is Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which is, a classic. It's had many, many releases. Now, the reason I don't have this one on Blu-ray or 4K is because I don't know what's going on with the transfers for this movie. Because both the Blu-ray and both the Blu-ray and 4K, they don't have great transfers. It's been said that the Terminator 2 4K is probably a 4K to stay away from because the transfer is not that great. And that's really a shame that, a film that great and they just can't seem to give it a proper HD transfer. So I figured I wouldn't waste my money on those and just keep the DVD. Next we have True Romance, which I know just got a 4K Blu-ray release from Arrow, so I will eventually upgrade this one. The great thing is I find these for about $1 to 50 cents to $1, and I can make my money back plus a profit on eBay to eventually fund the Blu-ray release. So True Romance. The next one here is Adam's Rib with Spency Tracer and Katherine Hepburn. It's got a whole bunch of stickers all over it. Katherine Hepburn's actually my cousin. I think she's like a 4th or 5th cousin. Her mother and my great-grandfather were, I believe, first cousins. So really cool to always check out films that she's been in. I've always been interested in getting to know the type of person she was. So really cool to have that. Next we have Analyze This, which I need to clean this case. This case looks absolutely horrible. Robert De Niro, Billy Crystal. I mean, you cannot go wrong. So really cool. Then, of course, we have Analyze That, which I believe is the follow-up. But yeah, it's cool to just, look back at these Snapper case releases and just realize where DVDs, at one point came from. Now, like any physical media, when these Snapper case releases came out, they were pretty expensive. You could only order them, like, I believe, offline. Like Columbia House used to sell these, and these were like $30 a piece. But like Blu-rays and 4Ks, once the studios saw that there was a market for them, they would eventually drop down the prices, and now that's why a lot of Blu-rays and 4Ks are starting to become becoming more of a reasonable price than the typical $30 to $40. So we have Born to Be Wild, which I had been on the hunt for this for years. I came across the VHS first and then found this not too long after. So I love this movie. It's one of my all-time favorites. This is actually the only release you can get of the film. It is out of print. So I was very happy to find that one when I did. This next one I really wish would get a Blu-ray release. I don't think it has one, but I think it's a very underrated Mel Gibson movie. It also has a very young Elijah Wood, and it's got Jamie Lee Curtis, and it's Forever Young, which is a really great drama. Basically, he's a pilot, I think, during like World War II, and he basically gets frozen and wakes up in the 1990s, and is looking for his wife, and eventually, because he's been frozen for so long, he starts to have, his age is eventually catching up with him. It's a pretty interesting movie, and it's definitely one to check out. Next, we have Joanna Man. Love this movie. absolutely love this movie. If you guys aren't familiar with this movie, basically the main character, the main actor here, you guys will recognize him in other things. I think he was in Street Fighter, he was in Return of the Living Dead, he's in Kicking It Old School, he's just been in a lot of movies. But in this one, he plays a NBA player who pretty much does something that causes him to be pretty much suspended from ever playing NBA. And so he comes up with this scheme to basically dress up as a woman and join the WNBA. And of course, it's a romantic comedy as well. So it's a fun movie. I've always enjoyed this movie. I remember watching it with me and my brother, and I remember my brother having a good time with it. Next, we have The Replacement with Keanu Reeves, which I've seen clips of, and it looks like a pretty fun movie. I just haven't actually sat down and watched it, so it's definitely on my list. Then we have Michael, which is a great John Travolta movie. He plays an angel, which is pretty cool. It's also got William Hurt in it, the late great William Hurt. So really cool. And it's got Andie MacDowell, which you don't really see a whole lot of her. I don't really know what happened to her. I know she was really big in the 90s. Like, every time you turned around, she was in a different movie. I know, like, Multiplicity, Groundhog Day, which I think was, like, the late 80s, I believe. Can't remember exactly. Next, we have The Philadelphia Story with Katherine Hepburn, Cary Grant, and James Stewart. So, really cool, you know, sniper case. But yeah, anytime I come across these, I will snag them right away. Especially if it's a movie I don't have in my collection. We got Free Willy, which is a classic. I do plan to pick up parts 2 and 3. And then that'll be it, because those are the only good ones. I don't even know why they did a 4th movie. And then we have Wolfen, which I've heard some really good things about, so I'm looking forward to checking this out. And then the last one, oh, before I forget, I completely forgot to show you guys the inside of this. And I don't know if I showed the inside of Free Willy. I might have, but if I haven't, I'm sure once I revisit the video and check to make sure, I'm sure I did show it. So I probably showed it twice to you guys. Oh, and then the last one we have is the Lethal Weapon The Complete series. So they used to come out with these snapper case boxes where you can get some really cool you know, films. I think they did the Superman movies, they did the Turtles, they did Batman. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. I need to get a table so that way I'm not constantly bending down. So Lethal Weapon 4, we're going to go into reverse. There's a lot of people who don't like this movie. I like it. I thought it was a pretty decent film. Lethal Weapon 3. Hopefully you guys didn't hear that. My stomach has been rumbling. There's some damage there, but that's okay. I do want to get the Blu-ray set sometime down the road. Then we have Lethal Weapon 2, which I've always enjoyed this sequel. I think it's one of my favorites out of the series. And then of course we have the movie that started the franchise, the first film, Lethal Weapon. Remember, I'm too old for this shit. One of the best lines in movies, and to this day it's still being used. And then of course this has just some minor damage there, but there you have it. So that's my snapper case collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time guys, take care. Don't forget to comment down below, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. Until next time guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.